And this is the countdown. 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Fabulous with Fabio. Our guest today is the fabulous Danielle Cobo, and you're going to learn a lot about her story and how she became fabulous and what she's doing to change and transform organizations and really help people succeed with grit and resilience. She's all about unstoppable grit. This podcast and this talk show you can watch in Fabio Marques 007, Fabio Marques 007, and also later you can listen to the same interview in our other podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. So without further ado, I bring to you Danielle Cobo. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm really excited myself because I know you have so much to share, not only about how you became this fabulous human being, but what you're doing to help people, enhance productivity and really go, break through all the barriers they have through unstoppable grit. So tell us a little bit about you in a personal level, your main personal values. What do you value the most?
What I value the most is my faith. So I center everything around my faith in God. And then second to that is my family and just my husband and my two kids. I'm a mother to 6-year-old twin boys, and I'm also a
Wow.
military spouse.
That's amazing. Oh, thank you for your husband's service. And of course, thank you for your service because we're all serving here. And what I like about you that really makes me invite you to this show, because I only invite fabulous people here. And I only invite people I know who really have this spirit of serving and adding value to other people. And also, for you guys watching, this interview has no editing, no post-production, no cuts, because this is real and authentic as life is. So I only invite people that I know can handle the situation. So besides those amazing values, faith, family, which is so important, when you're working with people and when we are trying to influence them to be better and to be more productive and to be more successful, what are the main pillars, maybe other more professional values that you help them, use to really support their growth?
I believe that accountability is an important value to have in the professional environment because accountability is being accountable for our actions, understanding that when changes occur, change is constant in business. So when changes occur, it's about focusing on the internal locus of control. What is within our control and taking accountability for it and not getting caught up in the drama of the things that are out of our control. So I'd say accountability is one of them. Grit is another one. Grit, defined by Angela Duckworth, is passion and perseverance towards long-term goals. And I believe that grit is very important because while IQ is valuable, you can be the smartest person out there, but if you're not going to be actually taking action towards your goals, then you're going to get stuck. And so I believe that grit is a characteristic that we all need inside of us to be successful in life.
It is. And I was studying the science of success for so many years, 41 years to be precise. And one of the key elements is grit. It's really having the grit to go for it and pursue long-term and important goals, as you were saying. So this is so key. Tell me a little bit about you in terms of what is your story? I know your story is huge, but I mean, key elements of your story that you believe have defined who you are today.
Yeah, I think the most defining moment for me is early in my childhood. Our most formidable years are between the ages of 0 and 8. And for me, my most formidable year was when I was around 2.5 years old. I didn't know this at the time, but my mom actually took me from my father. So my mom kidnapped me from my dad. He didn't know where I was for a long period of time. And in many ways, there was a beautiful and also brokenness to this story. The brokenness, obviously, I didn't meet my father till I was later on in life when I was 15 years old. But the beauty was that my mom was somebody that role modeled determination and motivation and tenacity and grit. She was, in my eyes, she was a single mother. She was going to school, getting her bachelor's degree full time. She was working as a server. And I saw her go from nothing with us living in a small, tiny little apartment, me, my bedroom being in the living room, to climbing the corporate ladder in medical sales. And I saw her go from this woman in such strength and resilience that I ended up pursuing the same career as my mother did. And I believe that grit deep down inside of me was formed at that early age in life.
Yeah, this is key. Key moments like this really, and of course, a lot of people say that we are the result of the environment we are. But I also believe that each and every one of us has a special way to interpret, right? To really experience what's going on in our lives. And some people take those experiences and turn their lives into something really ugly, right? And not productive. And some other people really take everything that happened to them and turn that into a beautiful life and lasting lessons on how to behave, how to progress in life. And that's your case, right? So you took a situation that was strange, awkward, and of course hard to understand, and then you learned from that situation and became this powerful woman that is able to really inspire so many people. So, is there any other element in your personal life that you believe was crucial for you to become who you are today, and also crucial to influence you in how you work today with your clients?
Yeah, so in 2019, my husband served a year deployment in Iraq while I was serving as a senior sales manager for a Fortune 500 organization. And then our twins at the time were 2 years old. And so I really learned during that year the importance of burnout prevention and recovery, because I remember the moment that my husband first told me that he was going to deploy, and my immediate reaction was, I'm going to have to quit my job. There's no way that I could be having the demands of this professional career and supporting my team to the level that I want to do it at, while also being the primary caretaker of our twins. And it was shortly after this moment where I felt like I had to quit my job and that was the only option. I realized that in life that we have a choice. And instead of quitting on ourselves before we even start or before we even try, what would it look like if we just took it one day at a time and take it one step at a time and focus on the things that we can control, understanding that if it got to a point where it was unbearable or too overwhelming, or I wasn't able to sustain that lifestyle at that particular year, then at that time I can reassess as time progressed. But I don't ever want to quit on ourselves before we even get started. And it ended up being I not only survived that year of his deployment, but I also thrived that year. I really learned the tools on how to prevent burnout, and so that we can build a career and a life that we love, understanding that we can be present with our kids and with our family while also enjoying and loving our career.
This is so important because I see so many people using what happened to their kids or to their husbands or wives as excuses, right? Oh, I had to quit because my husband went right, to service and I was all by myself. I had to quit because there was no way. Or I had three kids. That's why I had to quit my job because of that. I had to quit my career. Or because my wife doesn't support me, so I don't have. So people are always using excuses to give up on their careers or lives without even trying, as you said. And by sharing what you just shared, I believe a lot of people listening to this will realize that we have to really find the hero within, right? And the courage we need to face situations, hard situations, and really try and exercise our creativity and exercise our I don't know, inventiveness. So we find ways to approach those hard situations in a different perspective before quitting, and maybe not even consider quitting, right? Because if a career is important to you, if a project is important to you, if your job or what you're doing has a purpose, is like a mission in your life, you should never consider quitting. We should exercise our creativity, everything we have, and ask for help if needed, but never quitting on our dreams and careers.
Mhm.
So I want you to share with us your main inner dialogue, because I know by studying the science of success that every successful human being, including yourself, we have inner dialogues, right?
Mhm.
We have those negative voices and we have positive voices, like fighting back. What are your positive voices? What kind of, well, if you want, you can share with us the kind of negative voices that you were listening to or hearing, and how did you, fight back with the positive and constructive communication inside your head so you could keep going and keep trying.
Yeah, it's natural for us as humans to have a negative voice. Our negative voice and inner critic is often a protective mechanism. So it's protecting us from taking risks or from putting ourselves in situations that are uncomfortable. So I think it's important for people to understand that it's natural to have self-doubt. And it could be that inner critic of saying, I don't have the right skill sets to go for that promotion, or I don't have experience to go for that job, or I'm not pretty enough to have that person pursue me, whatever that inner critic is. And it can be pretty convincing at times. I know that there's been many times throughout my career where I've doubted myself in many occasions, but I've also learned that doesn't serve us in life if we listen to that inner critic. Our greatest growth comes when we're in our uncomfortable zone, when we're taking risks. That's when our greatest growth happens. So, in those moments where I am experiencing self doubt, there's a couple exercises that I do, and I talk about it in my book, Unstoppable Grit. But I take them through where I say, okay, grab a piece of paper and write down on one side of the piece of paper every challenge that you have experienced in life. And on the other side of the piece of paper, write down all the steps that you've taken to overcome that challenge. Sometimes we get so focused in on the destination that we lose sight about what we've learned along the way and how each challenge has shaped us into the person that we are today. The second exercise that I walk people through is write down a list, think back to your career, to your personal life, even back to when you were in your early years of childhood, and write down all of the accomplishments that you've had. I work with a lot of job seekers right now, and sometimes, when we're going through their resume and I'm starting to list all of their accomplishments, I'm like, do you realize the successes that you've had throughout your career and how it has prepared you for this particular role that you're applying to and the transferable skills? So I believe it's really important for us when it comes to building grit, when it comes to building uh, confidence, is to ensure that we're reflecting back on what has shaped us into the person we are today.
We have much more in common than I thought. For you guys watching or listening to this, we both are passionate about sales excellence, and we understand that excellence is precisely excel every day, right? To be evolving and getting better and better. Excellence is not perfection, is evolving and getting better. So we're always pushing ourselves out of the comfort zone because that's where we grow, right? So we're both passionate about sales excellence. And what you're saying right now, even before reading your book, I say the same things to my client, how you can grow your confidence to a level where you are unstoppable and you face every new challenges, looking back, everything that you have overcome already, right? And all the skills you have, all the abilities you have, everything you have that, and there are, as you said, skills that you can transfer to new situations and resolve new problems. So we have so much in common, and it's a very positive surprise, because the more I talk to you, the more I like you, and the more I respect you for that. Not because you look like me, but because when we find someone that is brilliant and has so much in common with us, we feel also like we are on the right track, right?
Mhm.
So you reinforce what I've been doing, and I feel good about it. And I reinforce what you've been doing as well. And I believe we are both adding value to people that are really committed to grow. Because we know, right? If you're not committed to grow, nothing will help you.
No, you'll be
But
stagnant.
yeah, but if we find people that are committed to grow and do whatever it takes to go to the next level, you and I are really a good resource for them to to step onto their greatness. Let me ask you this. If you had like just 1 minute or 1 minute and a half in front of a huge audience, let's say 70,000 people in a huge arena. Okay. You have 70,000 people live,
Mhm.
and they're also broadcasting you to 3 billion people. Okay. And you
Really
have
setting
like,
the stage here.
yeah, 1.5 minutes, more or less, to communicate your vision,
Mhm.
what you envision for our society. If they were willing to blank. Okay. Then you can, you know, fulfill the space with whatever you want. So the vision you have, if they were willing to do that. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to time you.
You're gonna
It's
time
one of
me.
my, yeah, one of my challenges. I like to time it. Okay.
Putting the pressure on here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I believe that if we could redefine what success looks like for us, not so much off of what society says we should do, or we get caught up in the should have or should do's, but more or less looking at our core values. And I believe that when we understand our core values and what's important to us, then we can start to align our passion and our purpose to our core values. And a lot of times we get so caught up in what we think society says we should be or should do in success, and we lose sight of who we are through the process. We get so focused on the goals, we get so focused on what we should be doing, that we lose sight of what fills our cup from the inside. And no longer should we be in a position where we're chasing job titles or paychecks. We should be really looking at what is going to be fulfilling us, and how can we turn what we're doing into a purpose greater than what we've ever imagined. Looking at not so much what I want to accomplish, but who do I get to be when I accomplish that goal.
Wow. 1 minute, 10 seconds was amazing. That's so powerful. So what do I want to be? What do I want to, who do I want to become, right? What kind of person do I want to become to fulfill my mission and to really add value to this world? What would make me feel great about myself as someone who is really making a difference in this on this planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
everything aligned with my core values, my passion, my uniqueness. Is
Yeah,
that the
so
right?
when I'm working with organizations, a lot of times we will go in and I will do a core values exercise, helping not only the individuals understand their core values, but what are the core values of the team as well. And then I like to take them through a legacy exercise, where one of the things that I learned, I lost my mom in March of 2020. And I remember this moment of writing her obituary. And I remember the moment of thinking, well, how does she want people to communicate who she was at her celebration of life? And it started to make me really think about my own life and what's the legacy that I want to leave behind. So a lot of times I'll take people through and say, let's identify what your core values are. Then let's think about what's the legacy that you want to leave on this earth here, and how do your core values and all the decisions that you're making align with your purpose and your legacy. I think it's such an important exercise because, again, it makes us think about who is the type of person that we want to show up in this world. It's that, who do we get to be?
If you want to live longer than your life, leave a legacy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So everybody watching, please, go back later, rewind, replay, and take notes, because we are really getting from Danielle important stuff here, right? As so many people are lost in this comparison game and trying to imitate people, copy people, and do whatever all those 100 gurus tell you to do. And sometimes you get lost. You really detach yourself from your essence, who you really are. And when you get detached from your essence, you have no value. You just became a cover version of somebody else. We need to understand we are unique, and we need to really find that uniqueness and value that and grow in our uniqueness and become the great person you can be by being yourself. You can learn from other people, but stop comparing yourself to other people or copying other people. Be yourself, because one of the values I believe everybody needs right now is authenticity.
Absolutely.
It's true,
Absolutely.
right? So be authentic, be yourself. You know, if you're not satisfied with who you are right now, keep working on yourself until you become a better version of yourself. But don't try to abandon yourself and live somebody else's life. This is never going to work. You're never going to feel really fulfilled and satisfied. Am I correct in
Mm-hmm.
this thought?
Yeah, absolutely. I think authenticity has been lost these days. Everyone's trying to be somebody that they see on social media. And through the process, we're losing who we are. And in those moments where you are starting to, you get caught up in the comparison trap. And I always say, never compare your step 12 or never compare your step 2 to someone's step 12. You don't know the process that they went through along the way. And all of our stories are absolutely unique in their own way. And we are
Mhm.
all unique. Authenticity is the core to connection and relationships. And if at any point you are trying to compare or be somebody that you're not only going to lose yourself in the process, but you're also going to lose the connectivity with other people because they're going to start to see it.
Please share with us one thing. What have you learned with this distance you had to face, from your husband? He was deployed, right? 1 year away from you.
Mhm.
What did you learn from that period of time?
I learned that I am a lot stronger than I thought. That year, there's a saying where in the military where anytime that a service member deploys, everything breaks around the house. It is for us, I think every single appliance broke when he was gone. And what I learned through that process is that we're a lot more capable than we think. And it's just a matter of us trying. So at that time, it was me trying to balance a career and kids. It was me trying to figure out how to do all the handy repairs around the house that I had normally just kind of deferred to my husband. But I also became stronger through the process and more independent, but in an independence in a good way. I still love my husband and he's my partner, but also the independence to be able to kind of take things and take the initiative on my own. And also I also learned to speak up. There was a lot of times where people thought that I had too much on my plate. And so I started to notice that I wasn't being invited to as many special projects at work. And I learned that when we want to speak up for what we want, then we're telling people that we're worth it. And there's been many moments where I've had to say, I appreciate that you're taking in consideration that you believe I have a lot on my plate, and I appreciate the fact that you're thinking of my well-being. And actually, when my husband's deployed, I typically have more time on my hands to do extra projects, mainly because my kids were in bed by 7:30 every single night, and I wanted to keep busy with special projects versus wasting away on Netflix. So speak up for
Perfect,
what you want.
perfect, perfect. Now, from your kids,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be during that same period of time, but by raising your kids and interacting with them, what were two main lessons you learned from raising your kids, interacting with them?
Patience. I learn a lot from my kids because they're a mere reflection of you. So in a way, your kids, they show you your flaws, they show you your areas that you get to develop. They also show you your strengths because they're a mere reflection of you. And so they've taught me the value of patience and the value of vulnerability and connecting with them. And I see that translating. I think the most valuable lessons I have learned in leadership have actually been through being a parent and through my kids.
Perfect. I have another challenge for you. Are you ready?
Okay. Oh, I don't know. Your challenges are tough.
So now you are in front of a audience, sales workforce. All right, you have 2,000 sales people there, and they are really excited. They are talking a lot. They're, you know, um, you're checking their phones, and you go up there on stage, and you have to say something in just 1 minute that will be powerful enough to make everybody stop what they're doing and focus on you.
Mm.
Right? So I want you to share with us what would be your opening statement? 1 minute opening statement that will really make all those people stop and say, what? I should listen to this. All right. And I'm going to time you again. Are you ready?
Okay. Okay, I think so.
Go.
What would it look like if change, you knew how to adapt to it? Because if there's one thing in life, change is the constant. It's constant in our personal and professional life. However, change can be scary at times. It's the unknown, it's the uncertainty. And in the moments of change is fear. But a lot of times change can be good if we see change as an opportunity. We see change as an opportunity to grow and to learn and to adapt. And change can be a value if we look at it more from a growth mindset than we are looking at it from the resistance of that's always the way I've always done it, or that's not, we've already tried that, it didn't work. But change can be one of the biggest blessings if we approach it in the sense of let's learn, let's grow, let's see, let's seek what's possible. And I believe that change can be valuable if we start to stop looking at it from a place of scarcity and fear of the uncertainty and unknown and starting to look at it at what's possible.
I like the way you ended it. What's possible? 1 minute and 6 seconds. Very good. So that would make everybody like stop and maybe think, okay, what's possible? What's really possible, right? And that's a major important question here. What is really possible? A lot of people, maybe most people, never reach their full potential because they never ask that question. What is really possible? They are always thinking about what they cannot do, the adversity, the obstacles, and maybe they don't ask that question a lot. What is really possible? If I could change my mindset, if I could have this growth mindset, right? If I could really look at everything that happens with a curious mind, with a learning attitude. And that would really help us understand all the possibilities we can have in life, both in personal life and professional life. That's why you are so brilliant as a coach as well, because you ask right questions. Now share with us, besides the lessons that you have shared already, okay? I want you to share with us maybe 3 key lessons you would like everybody watching to learn. Maybe lessons that you felt when you shared with your clients throughout this years as a speaker and coach, lessons that you really felt like when they got that lesson, they really evolved, they really grew, they really resolved their problems. So what were the key 2 or 3 lessons that throughout your career as a speaker and coach, they were super powerful to your clients?
I believe that perfectionism is a roadblock that a lot of people run into. And it's because perfectionism is one of those where we try to focus so hard on being perfect instead of looking at, I think practice and whatever we're doing, practice doesn't lead to perfection. Practice leads to confidence. And so when we sit there and we stop focusing on being perfect, because perfect will hold us back from trying. Perfect will hold us back from taking risks. Perfect will hold us back from even just getting started. And so when we start to look at perfectionism and saying, it's not a matter of being perfect, it's a matter of learning, growing, and adapting, pivoting along the way, knowing that perfect doesn't exist. Perfect is an unachievable when it comes down to it, because we're always adjusting. We're always looking at ways to improve. If anything, it's perfectionism is not what we want to strive for. We want to practice for confidence, and we want to pivot along the way.
That's so good. I'm laughing because I almost use the same words with my clients about perfection. Perfection doesn't exist, right? There's only one kind of perfection, when you are in love, right? So you have the illusion of perfection. We have perfect kids, we have perfect relationships. When we are in love, we feel like things are perfect, right? Like our life is perfect, our romance is perfect, because we are biased by love. So perfection, in my opinion, is just this illusion that gives us amazing feelings when we are in love, but perfection really doesn't exist in practical terms. What we have is, as you know, what you said is evolution, growth, and building confidence that you are able to do what you are supposed to do because you're practicing and you're getting better and better every day. Great lesson, great lesson. Let's go to the second lesson.
Okay. The second lesson is that imposter syndrome that we run into. Imposter syndrome is what holds us back from going after what we want as well. We kind of get into that comparison, that trap that we talked about, where we start thinking of, I don't have the right skill sets to pursue anything, or I don't have the right experience. And I believe that that imposter syndrome can really hold us back from achieving our goals. And it's not a matter, instead of focusing in on what you don't have, focus in on what you do have, and understanding that your skills are transferable. There's so many experiences that we've gone through professionally and personally that shape us into who we are, that give us the skill sets, like characteristic skill sets like adaptability, tenacity, grit, motivation, determination. Those are skill sets that I could apply in various roles. So instead of getting so caught up in, I don't have the right certifications, I don't have the right experience, I don't have the right job title to pursue the types of roles that we want, or even a business, start looking at what are the challenges that you've gone through, and how did they shape you, and they give you the skill sets that are transferable into all the roles that you've been in. I know that for my husband, for example, he's a Black Hawk pilot in the military. And for so long, he was focused on saying, my only skill set is I'm a helicopter pilot. And then a lot of time I said, yes, that is a skill set that you have. And when you're transferring into the civilian world, also look at the fact that you've led teams. You've been a platoon leader. You have experience as leadership. You have experience in project management, moving 200 troops from one country to another country, and facilitations and operations. And so looking at not just our job title as that's the skill set that we have, but more or less, what are the characteristics that we've developed along the way and the skill sets that we've developed along the way.
Beautiful, beautiful lesson. So important. Let's go to the third lesson.
The third lesson. I would say one of the biggest challenges also too that we run into is the apprehension to try something because we're so worried about what other people will think.
Mm.
And so it's apprehension of other people's opinions. And that can really hold us back, because when we're starting to live our life based off of what other people think that we should live our life by, or fear of judgment of how we live our life, then we're going to lose out on what's fulfilling to us and what we're passionate about. So for in those particular situations, I think it's really important to, pursue what you want. And if people are going to judge you for it, then you get to reconsider whether those are the people that you want in your inner circle.
And there's no way to be judged well if you're not willing to be judged at all, right?
True.
Because you can be judged well, positively as well. It's not only judgment, it's not only bad. So, but you have to be willing to be judged well. And as you said, what is really important to you? What is your purpose? What do you want to do? What do you want to pursue? This is what matters the most, because if you don't pursue what is important to you, you're going to be a bitter human being. You're going to be, sad and disappointed on yourself. We need to pursue what we believe it's important to us, align with our values, our purpose in life. And if other people will say this or that, okay, it's their right to say whatever they want, but it's our right to pursue what we believe is important to us. And we have to have the courage and the determination to know what we want and go forward, right? And if you're doing this with your heart, with authenticity, because you believe in this, there's no shame. And if you fail, you learn from failure, you keep going, you keep growing, and you should not be ashamed of pursuing your dreams, right?
Yeah.
So good lesson. Amazing. How would you say would be the first 3 steps you would recommend anybody watching this take to enhance their ability to move forward in their lives and their careers and get what they want?
Mhm.
Even if there's not working with you or me, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Let's, for, let's forget for a second that we are here to help them. If they
Mhm.
have to help themselves, what would be, the 2 or 3 first steps they should take to really keep moving forward towards a better career in
Yeah,
life?
I believe that right now, one of the biggest, or I would say what I'm hearing right now from a lot of people is this: I want clarity. Everybody seems to want clarity. It seemed as though after the pandemic, everyone kind of reevaluated their life. They were stuck at home and they were really looking at their life and saying, is this really what I want? I know for me, I came from a position where I would spend, before my kids were born, 250 nights on the road. And I remember that moment of when I got my Delta Diamond badge and I wore it with honor and pride of like, I'm a Diamond Delta member. And I look back at it and I laugh now because I was tying success to being on the road, the fact that I was on the road more than I was at home. And it's a good time in our lives to reevaluate what success that means to us and to look at for clarity. How do you get clarity on what you want in your life? And it goes back to some of the exercises that we discussed earlier, which is really
Mhm.
identifying what are your core values? How does those core values align with the work that you're doing professionally? How does, when you think about what you want your life to be, what is that legacy that you want to leave? In my book, Unstoppable Grit, I take people through a lot of different exercises that are going to help them go from stuck to unstoppable and help them get the clarity that they want to build the career and the life that they love. And some of those exercises are the ones we discussed.
Great. Amazing, amazing tips. What are your most common clients? I know you serve individuals as well
Hmm.
with coaching programs, and you serve companies, right?
Hmm.
So tell me a little bit about, the most common clients you have. What kind of organization really normally works with you?
Most of the organizations that work with me are in medical sales just because that's my background. So, and when it comes to individual clients, they're feeling stuck. It could be they're feeling stuck because they want to get promoted and they don't know what steps to take. They're feeling stuck in their business and they want to grow their business. So, I help people get unstuck and break through the roadblocks that are standing between them and achieving their goals.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
And if people want to get in contact with you, what are the
Mhm.
the main channels they can use?
I'm on every channel for social media. So Facebook, Instagram. I'm most often than not, I'm on LinkedIn. That is my favorite platform just because I learn so much on LinkedIn. So it's my favorite platform.
All right. So everybody watching, I'm going to put in the description of the video all the links for her LinkedIn, her website, and other links she wants to share with us. We're going to put underneath the video. Okay. So after this transmission is done, after this live stream is done, you can go back to the description of the video, see all the links there,
Mhm.
and get in contact with Danielle Cobo. And
And
she will help you get unstuck and break through all the barriers so you
yeah.
can have this unstoppable grit to get what you want and have this feeling of a fulfilled life because you're pursuing your dreams, you're pursuing
Mhm.
your goals, and everything aligned to
Mhm.
who you are and your personal values. Is that correct, Danielle?
Yes. And to pick up the book on Amazon, Unstoppable Grit.
All right. So now I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna give you another 1 minute, right? So you give us your final message, inspire us, make us laugh and cry if you want, but tell us your final statement to say goodbye, and then we can close this interview. It was amazing having you here. I want to hear your final message to us, please.
Okay. Well, my final message is going to be a challenge. And it's the challenge to reevaluate success, what success means to you, not based off what society says, not based off of what you see in social media or in the movies, but to really define success and what it means to you. And not to get into the comparison trap because comparing ourselves, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, it's not serving us in life. So, really take that time to reflect and to look at your life and look at what has shaped you into the person you are today and how do you get to leave a legacy for tomorrow.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, replay this interview several times if you need to, take notes and extract all this wisdom that we have been exposed to here with Danielle Cobo. This is Fabulous with Fabio. I only invite fabulous people to my show. Danielle Cobo has proven to be one of these fabulous human beings I had the honor to encounter. I want to thank you once again, Danielle, for being here today.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage everybody, go to our talk show, fabulouswithfabio.com. If you want to know more information about, maybe you can be a guest here in the future, go fabulouswithfabio.com to get more information about the talk show. You can watch this here in my YouTube channel, Fabio Marques 007, Fabio Marques 007, and also in our other podcast, Powerful Insights for Business. Later, you can listen to this interview as well. I'm very honored to have interviewed today Danielle Cobo. My gratitude for so much value you have shared with us. I really admire you. I respect you, and I hope we can do great things together serving our clients.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.